Great. So I hope my screen is visible.
Yes.
So this is basically the agenda for today's meeting. What I'd rather not categorize this as a meeting or maybe a session, interactive one. So introduction, course overview, what is going to be the exam structure, and how you should actually be preparing. So I think first slide has to be very clear for everyone.
I think we lost Akshay. We lost you. Something happened. Yeah. No, you're back.
Oh, I don't know, something went wrong from my end or
I don't know. Internet maybe.
yeah, okay. So yes, so that's like what CFA people are actually doing, or what CFA, what do you expect after CFA or while doing CFA? So first and the foremost thing is that you're going to be managing portfolios, either for yourself or for your client. Your client can be individual client, your HNI client, ultra HNI client, or maybe corporate clients. So maybe I'll see what the exam structure really looks like. Yes. So one thing I hear this a lot, that what CFA is and how it is different from CA. I think you must have heard by now that when you ask someone what CFA is, he'll rather categorize it as US ka CA. It's not like that. It's not US ka CA. It's more of a finance. It's a more coherent finance course, not degree. I'm using my words very carefully because it is not actually degree. It is a course that you try, that will make you familiarize with the finance overall. It will have investment, it will have fixed income, all the financial products what you hear about. It will have equity, fixed income, derivatives, any sort of other investment. We categorize that as alternate investment. So it will have all those things. That's about the course. And I'll come up with the levels. So we are here for CFA level 1. So CFA is a global recognized course which has 3 levels. Level 1, so it's like you give level 1. If you are passed, then you give level 2, then level 3. So you have to pass each and every level, preferably in the first attempt. And we'll make sure that you do that for sure. So all the subjects are going to be same throughout 3 levels. All the 10 subjects which are here: ethics, quantitative, economics. This is accounting, FRA, corporate finance, equity, fixed income. So these subjects are going to be same throughout 3 levels, but their weightages are definitely going to change. So if you see first level, it is more of evenly distributed, because the main intent of first level is to make you familiarize with everything. And when we go through the course, I think it will be more of an overlapping course for you both, for BCom and BBM. Level 2, priorities change a little bit, and level 2 is more about valuing those things, valuing equity, valuing fixed income, valuing real estate. While level 3 would be more into portfolio management or managing money at a broader level. So this graph would really depict what I'm trying to say, because level 1 is more about understanding or making yourself familiar what equity is, what fixed income is. So irrespective if your background isn't going to be finance or commerce, will straight away start from the scratch, and will not use your base, rather will create that base for you. Level 2, core valuation. You'll see valuing equity, how the portfolio is being valued, which has equity, which has fixed income, which has real estate. And level 3 would be overall portfolio management, where you'll be asked to manage portfolio or manage portfolio for your clients. So that's a broader level about the course. Coming to technicalities, CFA is a globally recognized course. So as Gary just mentioned that he cleared his CFA when he was in Delhi. Now, geography, it doesn't really matter whether he's in Delhi or Amsterdam or Chicago or any XYZ state or country. It's like you can, if you have a passport, the eligibility criteria is very simple. You need to have a passport, and you should be at least bachelor's. You should hold at least bachelor's degree, or you should be into your final year for bachelor's. So that's the only requirement that you have. Rest, it's more of a global course, so you can give your level 1 here in Delhi, you can give your level 2 in any state or any country, maybe New York, Japan, any country where you might be residing. And so geography isn't really a barrier here. It's a global course, and it is considered to be as the most difficult course in finance. And you can see the pass percentage also depict that. So if 100 people are giving CFA exam, close to 40% is the pass rate, which should prevail. I can see the trend is increasing, but it's more or less toward 40-42%, which is currently the pass rate. You will be overwhelmed with the lot of with the kind of syllabus, with the kind of information, with the kind of subject. But once you get through it, you'll feel like you've studied something. So it's like doing an complete MBA or completing 1 year of MBA in 4 or 5 months of CFA level 1. So, and obviously the employability of a CFA is much higher than any graduate, or I don't want to compare it against MBA, because that's more of an open field. Because if you're doing your MBA from top 5 or top 10 colleges, you're highly employable, but after that it just diminishes. But CFA, I think it opens up door in wide arena. You have 10 subjects, you have 10 topics. You can easily get a job in any of those fields depending upon your interest. If you have, because I am currently working, I started my career with derivatives. Into valuing derivative was my first job. Then I thought of switching into other products. So currently I'm into equity and fixed income. So it's about, you can just jump around the 10 subjects that you have, and you can build your core competency in maybe 2 or 3 subjects. And exam, yes, there have been a lot of changes this year for level 1. Earlier it used to be pen and paper when me and Gary or other people gave their exam. It used to be pen and paper hardcore, but now, since things have changed, it is shifted to a computer based test, which will happen 4 times in a year. So February, May, August. So the basic criteria is in every quarter in the middle month: February, May, August, and November. Now it has become a lot easier, because you can technically get 2 chances to give level 1, 2 chances to get level 2 in an year, because you need to have a 6 month gap between two exams. So that's about the changes. And the exam fee. So November one, I don't think you both are really planning for November as of now, but yes, the February exam, early registration fee $700, and standard. I'd highly recommend, if you are really sure about giving, then register for early registration, early bird discount. Avail that. And in India, CFA is becoming more like um, is being valued more, I'd say. In Because earlier it used to be more of a American, or more people from North America used to give this exam, but now things have shifted toward Asia, and a lot of people from India and China are giving this exam, because a lot of companies are setting up their processes here in developing countries. And India stands first there. So I think the employability in India is tremendously high. That's about the course. I know the information can be overwhelming for sure, because too much in 10-15 minutes, but I'd rather be happier if you can ask more questions. And you know because everyone would have their own doubts, and the kind of, or I have some FAQs which I know that people would really ask, but I'd rather open up forum for you guys.
So I want to know what is actually so. Okay, I'm sure about the portfolio managers. What do they do? Equity
Hmm.
derivatives. But I wanted to know more about the research and consulting part of CFA. Or what does their job looks like?
Okay, so I'll answer this question in maybe two parts. So first is research. Now there can be different sort of research. You can be working in any fund management house, or you can be working for any asset management company where you would be responsible. You would be given a sector. There's a possibility you might be for, but initial year it's like a open forum. You might be placed into pharma sector, you might be placed into banking sector, where you would be analyzing one specific company, or maybe a bunch of companies, 4 or 5 companies, and you got to prepare all the information about the stocks. Now that's one thing if you are working into AMC. There can be other things if you are working as a consultant, because I'm currently working as a consultant. I am taking care of retirement portfolio, because all the companies that manage retirement corpus, they need to see if we have enough funds to manage liquidity. Now the role of researcher or consultant would vary differently. You might be working into a fixed income domain, where you would be keeping a check on interest rate, what all information, because just like RBI just released the information. Now you need to keep a track of all those things. If you're working into fixed income space, you need to keep a track. What were the last meeting calls? What were the rates? Have the rates been changed or not? If rates have been changed, what is going to be the further impact? You need to analyze all those things. The role of research or consultant, I think it's a very broad role, depending upon what you get. But in the initial years, maybe after completing CFA, or maybe when you've done with CFA level 1, you'll be doing more or less every bit starting from scratch. For equity side, since you have been to trading, for equity side you might be preparing all the you might be preparing all the or you might be collecting all the information about the stocks, maybe all the manager commentaries, maybe all the um, order book, what they actually release. So you might be taking care of all those things. It will depend upon the kind of role that you are into.
Okay.
And for consultant, I think it's more of a there's a distinct. So when there is a consultant, there is always a front end consultant and a middle management or back end consultant. The role of front end consultant is more into sales, because sales is going to be, you need to learn sales, because sales is going to be there. Since you will be representing your company. Now whatever your company might be offering, your company might be offering investment management solution. You got to pitch that, you got to maintain relationship with your clients. That's primarily the role of front end consultant. The person sitting at the middle level or at the back end is more into doing all those research, collecting all those research to prepare pitch books, to prepare. So these terms might sound like a jargon as of now, but you'll get those understanding once you start dwelling into the course or the curriculum. I hope I answered.
Yeah, yeah. It's clear.
So even on the research side, there is buy side and sell side. Just to add to that, so I wanted to be on buy side. Always I wanted, and I got that opportunity. Why do people like buy side? Is just because you have got your internal fund and you research opportunities and invest in that fund, or recommend your portfolio manager or to committee to invest in that fund, invest in that stock or anything you are doing. So normally people, the journey is like somebody who starts from as a sell side analyst, like brokerage houses. They prepare research reports for the general public or institutional investors so that they can read those research reports and take a call. whether to invest or not to invest. But for buy side, you have internal like hedge funds, insurance companies. Like I was in insurance company. Uh, so it's considered that if you've got a couple of years of experience in sell side, you can survive and thrive in buy side, experience wise. And then pay wise as well, buy side pays higher, a little bit higher. If you are very lucky, you can get a buy side role like hedge fund or PE, for example, private equity. That's the research because I could relate to it. So I thought to share my thoughts.
And also, I have internships, work experience in CA firms. So I have worked under CAs as an assistant auditor, ITR filing, GST filing. So will that count as my work experience for CFA?
Akshay will, I think
Yes,
Akshay is, yeah.
yes, I think audit does qualify that, but again, we need to have a look because see, in order experience to get qualify into CFA experience, you need to submit your job description, and the main criteria is that in one way or the other, you should be helping people in or maybe assisting people in managing money. Now, audit comes under that umbrella for sure, but again, for complete validation, we need to check your job description or the kind of responsibilities that you have been doing. But yes, audit as a general, yes, it does qualify. So I did my internship in managing, uh, maybe it was more of a marketing, but even that also qualified because it was more like gathering data to take a financial decision. Now if you're doing that, that will also in a way helping or assisting someone to take a financial call or to take a financial decision. So that again qualified, even though that was into marketing side.
Okay. So it really depends on the job description it is given.
Correct, correct, that's right.
Okay. And so, like, if as we are a new startup and we are running, and in, let's say in the 6 months it does not work out, so
Hmm.
this 6 months will be counted as my job experience. And post that, if I am again into audit sector, then I'll need to look at the job description I'm getting.
Yes. See, the if when you're saying that you're running a startup now, there are two sort of startups which are currently prevailing. It's like it's like a startup wave that everybody is working on some product. But is your startup on paper, or are you just can you justify your work that you did?
Yeah, we
Because
have a registration, we have company registration, we have domain purchase, and we are about to take a MSME. Sorry, SME.
yes, I think
Yeah,
if
small
if
and
if
medium.
you if you can as in it's like as in when if you are able to justify your your work that you have done, it should be counted if it is related to assisting someone or helping someone in managing finances or taking a financial decision.
Okay.
So yes, it will qualify. So if you see me and Gary, I think we both use CFA credential post our name. It's like Akshay Pahwa, comma CFA, comma FRM, or Gajendra Jaiswal, comma CFA. It's like you have to use that name. You in order to use that name, you got to clear all the three exams first. That's the first criteria. Then you need to have 4 years of relevant work experience. If you have that, CF you got to submit your experience in a prescribed way to CFA board. They'll have a look. They'll maybe they'll validate or cross check against your managers or the relevant contact that you'll provide. So once they are satisfied, they'll provide you their consent, and then you got to pay a nominal fee to them that I'll be using this credential against my name.
Okay.
So and there are enormous benefits of having those credentials against your name, because it's like you stand apart. It's like if there are 10 people in a room and you are holding your CFA charter against you, and you have those credentials, you'll be somehow valued a little bit on a higher side. And the
The
kind of
reason for
network.
that
Yes,
is,
go ahead.
I think, determination and the kind of rigorous training you have gone through. People understand. If a CFA charter holder comes to me and talks to me, I know he has gone through that material. I have also gone through it. So that also helps, I think, in my experience.
Yes, and also see, it's not three exams, because when we tell anyone that you need to clear three exam, they might say that it's only three exams. It's not about three exams. It's like starting from one end to the other end. You are just embedded into that. So it seriously takes a rigorous sort of efforts from you, lots of compromises for sure.
Yeah.
If you are serious about, because you have to be serious if you are appearing. It's an expensive course. It's not that maybe I'll not compare it against any other course, but it's an expensive course. It takes close to a lakh in starting to register to give an exam. So you have to be serious. So you got to have that determination. So no Friday catch ups, or no maybe Saturday drinks. You got to turn that off for a while at least.
I
And
think
if you're
lockdown has
working,
prepared. I think lockdown
then
has
that's
prepared
even.
us for that.
Actually, I mean, it's like a dual-edged sword, because once the
Yeah.
lockdown gets open, initially you everybody is going to get out and have a couple of drink, or maybe meet your friends. But once it is all sorted, I think we'll get back to our normal BAU, and work into the kind of arena that we want to. Okay, so I have this question from Sahib. What is the difference in MBA finance and CFA? Yes. So first, it's not an apple to apple comparison for sure, because MBA is a 2 year long course that that you got to pursue. Right. I can see Gary has also posted this. Okay. So
Please go ahead.
it's not an apple to apple comparison for sure, but I can tell you what MBA, what the kind of curriculum MBA people study. It's first year is more of a generic. Is like you're becoming masters of business. So first year is going to be generic for everyone. Maybe you want to pursue MBA in HR, in finance, in operations. Everybody will study similar subjects, or rather same subjects, not similar, same subjects in first year. And the second year is more of a finance oriented. There in MBA, there the application is a little bit different, because it's more toward, see, it's a Indian sort of thinking that I need to prepare to give my exam. But in CFA, the course content is going to be overlapping a bit, not much, but it is more going to be application driven. MBA in finance in second year is you're studying finance, but not that application oriented. That's the basic, I mean, about the curriculum. Then you compare it in terms of cost. Now if you go for an MBA from tier 1 college, or maybe top 10 colleges, it is going to cost you a lot, maybe 20-25 lakhs for sure. But if you compare it against CFA, it's like if you are good enough to clear all those exams in single attempt, it will cost you 2.5 lakhs on a higher side. So that's in terms of cost. But again, in MBA, your basic intent is more of a networking, because you're getting into is more of a personal development than concentrating more on course. But CFA is a very course oriented. It's a very content oriented. It's not that you'll be meeting different people or not. No, it's like you'll be banging your head in books for a long period of time, and it's more of a content oriented. What we hear in terms of films as well, that it was a content oriented or it was a commercial oriented. So not a very apt, but yes, CFA is more of a content oriented course.
Sir, is the job profiles also get affected? Like, if I'm having a competition with, I have done my CFA. I have like, I'm going for charter, and then also there's an MBA finance in my competition. So will there be a job competition like MBA finance would be given a better preference?
Depends upon the kind of role that you are going for. If you are going for a front end sort of role, then yes, maybe MBA finance would be preferred more, because he has one person who has done MBA. He has met maybe a lot of different people. He has prepared more of presentations, and if the job profile is like that, then yes, MBA in finance would be given a priority. But the kind of role that you get after CFA, those are not really generally those are not really presentation oriented or meetings oriented. Those are more of work oriented. So yes, it depends on the kind of role that you are appearing for.
Also, yeah, just to add to that, say if you are looking to become a portfolio manager, their CFA might be preferred more
Preferred,
than
yes.
MBA, because there are countries like for Canada, for example, there are so many regulatory waivers available. What does that mean is you need to have your CFA charter to become a portfolio manager in Canada. So there are so many other countries they mandated to have some sort of, any level cleared. If you have cleared level one, you get some waivers in regulatory licensing as well. So yeah, it totally depends, as Akshay said, what you are looking for. But cost advantage is really huge. And also, there's one more advantage, I would say, CFA societies across the world. I was actively networking uh, when I was doing my CFA. Although I tried and nailed it in first attempt, all the three papers, at what cost? A lot of sacrifice, of course. But I always kept in mind I have to network. So I kept meeting people, leaders from mutual fund and then other industries. They kept coming and talking about their industry experience, and that actually helped me. It's my personal experience. So every person is unique, every journey is unique. So it doesn't mean everybody will experience exactly the same thing.
Yes, so I mean,
Okay.
talking about waivers, one interesting thing is many countries or many big B schools where you go for an MBA, they'll provide you some relaxations if you are clear maybe level one. So not only for jobs, but even if you want to see MBA is more like there are two different sort of roles. One is creating something, and second is selling that. CFA, if you are managing money, you're not supposed to sell. I mean, it's more like you're supposed to manage. So for that, you need to be very thorough with the concepts. You need to be very thorough with the knowledge. But an MBA guy, or maybe an MBA marketing or MBA in finance, it's good that they can take up front end roles and do all the maybe cosmetic stuffs while you do the basic the operational or the fundamental BAU, I'd rather say.
One
Because
question I get from many candidates, uh, because I have been helping candidates for several years now. I have my personal WhatsApp group in which I now hand it over to the firm. Edulite started managing it. But yeah, we've got people from all across the world. What they ask is how to prepare, how to start, where to begin, because it's something new they are venturing into and it's very difficult. So, how to make sure that they manage it and they clear their exams in first attempt. So that's the question. We can debate about it. We can discuss. If you guys want to know about it, it's frequently asked question. Many people ask me. I don't want to waste my time. I want to clear all the exams quickly. So what's that
yes, yes.
magical
we
thing
we
you
hear
want to?
we hear that we hear that a lot, at least.
Yeah.
I mean, as Gary said, I mean, I in fact I've been also helping a lot of candidates around. A lot of my in my personal contact have also opted for CFA. So I think I'll just park that question for now and rather concentrate on the kind of subject or the kind of things that you're going to study. So if someone asks me that what actually is CFA is, I'd rather say it as managing investments. Now, managing investments or managing money is a very responsible role. See, it's if you are managing money for yourself, or if you are managing money for your parents or for your family or for your clients, it's a very responsible job. You need to be very thorough with all the concepts. You need to be very thorough with all the subjects, and you need to see the practical aspect of those as well. Now, what at bachelor's level or at MBA level, what we do here in India, it's more of grasping everything, grasping all the knowledge, I remember my days. I have a bookshelf which is complete, which has completely new books for graduation level, because I used to just study at the last, maybe last 10-15 days, open up books, get all the concepts in my mind, and just straight away go for exam. So what it does is, it will enhance your percentage for sure. It will help you to clear all the exams. But CFA is very different concept in that sense, because now when I see my graduation level books and when I see my CFA level books, those are completely filled. I cannot, I don't have any space to, scribble it more. So that's the kind of difference that you experience yourself, the kind of role that you get after doing CFA, or maybe after level 1, because level 1 is all about basics. You'll maybe if you open up newspaper, a financial newspaper, I personally prefer Mint. If you open that, there will be maybe few words that seem like a jargon as of now to you guys. But after pursuing level 1 studies, you should be easily able to understand all those things. So what CFA level 1 does is, it creates a base for you. The kind of jobs that you land in, they're also somewhat helping in that domain, because as I said in the initial phase as well, if you are working in that domain and you are studying those things, it really helps you a lot. When I started my career, I got my first job after doing level 1. Then after doing level 1, I got into derivative space. It was more of derivatives, call options, put options, swaptions, and all of those. Now that, at that point, seem like a jargon, or seem like more of a technical words that are very difficult to understand, or all those things. But then I got to know about, okay, there's a specific course about risk management, where it's going to be more of derivatives. So I opted for derivatives. So what it does is, CFA level 1, it creates a base for you. Now with 10 subjects, you'll figure it out yourself which subject is interesting enough for you, or keep you glued toward that subject. So you'll develop some preference over those subjects. Now what you have to do is, you'll have to dwell upon those subjects, because you'll some bit or the other, you'll get those subjects again and again. And if you get your job working in that domain, work in that domain and just ace it.
So
Another
you
very yes, sorry, go ahead.
you worked along with CFA, like you did your job and along you cleared the CFA level 2 and level 3.
Yes, I mean that's what I
As
was
with
talking, that
everybody, most of people, I did the same. Yeah.
it's most common question that students come up, that should I quit my job, because even I face that dilemma, that should I quit my
Same.
job and start studying. Preferably no. um, Otherwise you won't really get the charm of the course. It's like the course is designed in such a way that you got to spend maybe an hour regularly, and on weekends you need to spend 4 or 5 hours on a regular basis. The course is not really designed like spend 3 months and completely 8 hour. No, the course is designed in a way that you work, and side by side you do your study, so that you can get the practical aspect as well and the theoretical knowledge. So
And on top
that's the
of that, it
preference.
gets updated every year. So when I was doing my CFA, there was no machine learning or artificial intelligence. Right now, they've included it. So that means every time, whenever you do, you are updated.
Or the other common question which I tend to hear is like, should I go for CFA or CA? It's like very important question which I always get. Now,
Yeah.
the work of CA, or the kind of work CA does, is more of a regulatory approved. Now, you all your documents, if you take a company aspect, all the documents for the company needs to be prepared or should be authorized by the CA, which is maybe regulated stuff. As a CFA, you won't really be doing all those things. Your work isn't going to be preparing the documents, financial documents. Your work is more going to be toward analyzing those. analyzing what CA might have done wrong, analyzing what CA might have tried to conceal any information, or your work is going to be more of a analytical and not preparing documents for regulators. So
So you have to
that's the
think more.
basic difference.
You have to think
Yes,
a lot.
yes. You have to use your analytics a lot. It's not going to be a regular BAU job where you'll be writing that you won't be posting entries like machine debited or cash credited. No, you won't be doing all those things. You'll be analyzing that what CA has done, or what CA has tried to do. You can understand that. Now, in order to get that, you need to be very thorough with the accounting information. It's not country oriented. So CFA won't really teach you that in India the distribution tax rate is this much, and in US the tax rate is this much. It's not going to be like that. They'll give you a course. So it's a global course. What you are studying here in Delhi or in India is exactly word to word same book. Even the book is going to be the same for the person who is sitting in maybe Australia or Canada or US. The course content is going to be generic for everyone. Books are going to be same. Board remains one. Even for that matter, you'll all give exam on same day, or maybe a
Yeah.
window. Now they have launched that.
Yeah.
So it's a global course. You won't dwell into the income tax rate here in India or the income tax there in US or Canada. No, it won't be like that. It will be more of a what generally markets are. Then
So if
talking
you have
about
anything else in your mind, please do ask.
yes, talking about prospects of the course, as I've mentioned, there are 10 subjects, and primarily there are going to be financial instruments like, or maybe asset classes like equity. If you because generally people tend to develop interest in equity. That's another question that comes up, that is investment banking or CFA or studying finance is same or not. So that's not really true. It's like you'll study a lot many different things. You'll study about equity, you'll study about fixed income, you'll study about derivatives and all the asset classes, maybe private equity, maybe hedge funds, or so we categorize those as alternate investment. You'll study all those things, and then it's more of your call that which subjects really gets your attention, or makes preference for you.
Any questions, guys?
So like
Because we
you
want to
are,
make it interactive.
yes, so you are like you must be doing work along with that. So 4 years was counted as the in between work as well, or like is 4 years after completing CFA?
Yes, it's like 4 years, irrespective whether you've worked prior completing CFA or after completing. It's like 4 years in total. It may be in any sequence. Maybe you can 1 year work and then take a leave for an year, or go on sabbatical for 6 months. So in total it's going to be 4 years, irrespective whether it's in between CFA, prior to CFA, or after CFA. Even in India, I think for portfolio managers they have listed that preference would be given to CFA. So in India, you can see the prospects. If you see the number of people, number of students that are giving CFA exam in India is tremendously high. It is gaining popularity because more of investment management companies in India or abroad, maybe they're setting up their offices here, and here in India they again prefer CFAs to do all their work. So I mean, employability wise, it makes you employable, but it won't guarantee you the employment. It'll make you employable. It'll make it'll or rather I'd say it'll transit you in such a way that you should be able to get an interview call. Now in that interview call, that'll again depend what it how did you answer all those questions, but it will make sure that you'll get an interview call.
So, what was the purpose? Let's ask Sahib. What's the purpose? Why do you want to do CFA?
So, sir, like I was interested in finance, but like in my final year, this is the core time. You need to identify your interest, right? So just a couple of days back, I was giving an interview with ENY. Like my
Hmm.
college placement has like there was a placement interview in my college, and I was giving an online interview. He was a He was a CA. So he was asking me accounts questions like core accounts, like what is like not just debit credit, but like how will this thing like affect your financial statements, how will trial balance, what is trial balance, give your accounting what are the accounting principles. So like when I was performing in that interview, I got to know that this is not the part. Okay, this is not
Okay.
for me. This is really not for me.
So
And
basically, if you are grow people in India, the rote learning is very much uh, is prevalent everywhere.
exactly
Now it's changing because of globalization, but
right
still
now,
it's there in
I
the
think, yeah,
psyche.
it's still there. Yeah, it's still there, and it will be a huge impact if road learning goes away, like total
It will
education
take
industry.
time because it's a change in mind shift. Shifting
Exactly.
in the mindset takes a lot of time, generation at times. But the good thing is that if you are doing CFA and you don't like memorization, you are at the right place. Right? If you are really good at mugging up, because you can't make a great career by mugging up, right? Uh, People just memorize before the exam day and spit in the exam hall. That's not, life is much more beyond that, right? It's more about thinking and critically thinking, questioning stuff, and then coming up with innovative solutions of the same problem, maybe. But thinking capacity, how will you become analytical? So, one of the things CFA did to me was it made me think a lot in level one, level two, basically more. It happened because of valuation, and I think that is helpful because then you become analyst all of a sudden. By the time you reach level three, you don't even realize your mind has become analytical. Yeah, so that's the magic. I realized that happened to me.
I also started with
Yes.
trading. Like I started with like I was like I'm pursuing my internship, so they were teaching about everything, Japanese candlesticks and the stock
Mm,
markets. So
yeah.
the best learning is through practical experience, right? So I I invested some of the amounts in the stock market, just buying one or two shares, not a hefty amount. But
To
yeah,
practice, yeah.
it actually, yeah, to try. So it got me so interested. Like for yesterday, I decided that I will not go for stock market because it's highly risky. But then just like a second later, I started to invest one. I got one more share. So it was so interesting, and I thought that CFA, yes, CFA has to be done. It's very important to
So
manage
even if you
funds.
do not want to become a portfolio manager, I advise people who are interested in finance must do level one at least. Because by the time you clear your level one, you will know what you want in finance. Akshay, I think you will agree to that.
Yes, yes. So I just echo one thing that you touched a very great point that if you are good at learning stuff, then CFA is not your cup of tea because it's not going to be like debit what comes in, credit what goes out, or
Mugging up
all
is not
those
going, yeah.
things what we have done at our school level. Because see, when I talk to someone who's in maybe graduation or maybe postgraduate non-finance, if I ask them what standard deviation is, we all have, we all remember our school times where we used to create that table and do the formula piece and calculate standard deviation, and if we are good, we'll get the complete 6 marks or 4 marks. Now, CFA's definition of standard deviation is way different than that. You're not going to solve all your questions. One of the most important question that people ask, that the kind of questions that comes up in CFA exam, are they more of a numerical based or theoretical? That's like most common question that we come up. And my answer to that is it's more conceptualized. There will be some questions that you'll see numbers, but you won't have to do the calculation.
Yeah.
You'll if you're thorough with your concept, you should be able to eliminate two options directly. So it's more of a concept oriented. Now if you are someone, maybe it might sound a little negative, but if you are someone who are good at mugging up things, it's not going to be working in CFA.
And
it's
that's why
it's
lots of CAs struggle.
yes,
Indian
yeah,
CAs,
that's
they
why a lot of
struggle in
CA
CFA.
struggles. Yes,
Yeah.
and lots of people with science background, they find it easy because they feel like that's the correct way of doing things. That's the correct way of understanding stuff. So lot of CA struggle, rightly mentioned. Yes.
And Rohit, so you are running great. You have got entrepreneurial mind. And what is the real reason? Only you know why you started it. But one thing I want to point out, you just used a word, if it fails. The mind you have, the moment you have that doubt in your mind, it will fail. It will. So,
It will.
because
Yes.
I have entrepreneurial mindset and I'm not thinking Adulite to be an option. There's no option after this. Okay. I've seen my wall. I've achieved a lot, little bit or sometimes higher, and that's great. But option, if you are for something big, you have to just leave everything, and that's the only thing. There's no other option. Then only it's possible. Determination and focus must go there. So startup is like that. So because you are doing it, that's why I mentioned, but there's nothing
Exactly.
related. Yeah.
And
But yeah,
one
the
thing
reason for
I
CFA.
just
Yeah,
yes,
sorry.
yes, go
So
ahead.
again, so being in the financial sector, I'm like, okay, there's a lot to learn, because just because I've started something does not mean I know everything. And seeing a lot of people, a lot of other sectors like financial sector, portfolio managers, consulting, there are a lot of things, and CFA will give me that edge and those learning and experience of doing CFA. It will help me, and if I'm still whatever I'm doing in the future, it will help me boost my career. That is what I want from CFA. So that learning that I'll get, I'm looking forward to learn a lot of things. As you have shown the aspects, I can go into consulting, research, portfolio managers, trading, a lot of various fields. Those are untouched by me, and I don't even know anything about them. I want to see what are other things that I can include in my business, or if I'm doing anything else in the future. Having a CFA like Rohit Bansal CFA will give me a much better aspect in career wise, rather than just Rohit Bansal BB graduate. That is what I.
That's a good thing because you can
Yes,
do
that
with
that will.
your company, with your firm. Yeah,
Yes,
Akshay,
that
sorry.
will. Yes, I mean, I was just saying that a lot of people get confused that CFA is all about trading stocks. CFA is lot more beyond trading stocks. Trading is you'll learn about trading, how trading is done. You'll learn about what are the kind of markets that we trade in stocks. So you'll learn about stocks for sure, but there's a lot more thing than stock. I mean, by the time you come in level three, your main focus won't really be cherry picking stock. Your main focus would be allocating your assets. Now if you have suppose a portfolio of 1 lakh rupees, or you have 1 lakh rupees in cash in your hand, you won't really, the first thing that you should be going is not cherry picking stock and putting your money there. First thing is that you got to do is decide how much money should I put in equity, or how much money should I keep in my liquid reserve, or how much money should I put in into the basically the less risky investments.
Fixed
So
income,
by the
etc.
time by the time you go into level 3, you'll develop that sort of mindset within you, and you won't really realize that what how and when have you developed this. So by the time you go into level 3, you'll have that sort of mindset that if I have 100 rupees, I need to save, or I need to keep liquid maybe 20, and put in this much into risky, put in this much into risk less or risk free sort of investments. Now then you label them as if you want to put in maybe 40 rupees in risky, then you label them that how much to put in equity, how much to put in derivatives. So I intentionally didn't use the asset classes at first. So it's
Hmm.
like you develop that sort of mindset that I need to allocate my assets first, and then the next step is deciding how much to put in which stocks. So it is a process, and it is a process. It will take some time for sure, but you'll see yourself growing through that process. because a lot of things you'll study about how a company. So a very very prominent work that CFA people do, they get into corporate finance role. they get into they get into finance domain of a non-finance company. For example, you might be working as a financial analyst in maybe an automobile company, where you would be taking those sort of decisions that should the company be expanding more in this venture or the other venture. You'll be analyzing which project to choose from. Now, that's not a kind of role that automobile company would be doing, but you will be as a CFA person or as a financial analyst, you will be taking all those decisions, or not taking, but maybe helping the higher management to take all those decisions. So CFA is beyond stocks as well. It's not about cherry picking or maybe trading this stock or maybe trading that stock. It's more about de- defining how to take your financial decision and assisting gathering data, or maybe analyzing that data. So that's that sort of analytical mind that will develop over a period of time. So it won't happen then that magic will happen on your result day and you'll pass level 1, and straight away someone will knock your door that, okay, you, since you are level
Take
CFA
this
level
offer.
1, take this offer and manage money for us. No, that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
won't really happen. But yes, this will happen that you'll get the basics right, that what all things you should be analyzing. And over a period of time you'll develop that skill set, that should I invest money in this project, should I expand this project or not, should I buy land or should I rent land. You'll make projections about future. You'll make projections about 5 years, 10 years, maybe 15 years down the line. You'll make projections of all. So the kind of work that CFA does, if you look at the subjects which has, it makes more sense. Now if you see why we are studying quants, one very because I have this fear of maths within me. I don't like really maths. So my first question was, I don't like maths, so is it important to pass in quants as well? So the answer is, the kind of maths that you will have here in CFA, it won't involve that trigonometry formulas or maybe differentiation or all other complex topics. It will have your unitary methods, and most of your formulas will get derived from that unitary methods. So it's a interesting stuff. And once we go through the subjects, I think it'll make more sense that why are we studying these. Because economics, I think we all have studied economics at our levels, but how that economics can help us to predict future, is that the CFA is the bridge between that you're analyzing all the past data, you're making projections about what will happen maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years. So it's like making projections. The work of CFA is going to be predominantly doing that.
And level two has economics for valuation. That was invented within CFA. There's nowhere you will find economics in valuation. So they have developed some concepts around that, how economics can help in doing valuation of a company. Uh, that I like that a lot because I like valuation. If you know valuation, I think half the finances you will win most of the wars because it's a debatable topic. How much should be the value of each share? And if you know the value, you know fundamentals, fundamental research, and you can bet on you have conviction. You can make money, or you can make money for others.
Others, yes. And I think it's not only about studying subjects. It's about analyzing those, that the economics that we just talked about. So in economics, you'll understand about how the FX is moving. How remember that time when INR against USD used to be 50, 55. Now it was very well known that it will drift away to 70s or maybe 60s. Or so you'll understand the practical aspect of those. Now if it helps in export and import, if somebody feels like going into that. So it's a very vast knowledge that you get in CFA. It's often said that it's a ocean full of knowledge, but the ocean is 1 inch deep only for level
Sayed,
one.
we have somebody new joining just now.
Yeah, so that is Sayadaya is my friend, and he was
Okay.
to join, but due to some, he got vaccination today only.
Right. Great.
Yes.
Congratulations, first of all. Vaccination is so
Yes,
important.
it's quite a task in Delhi now, in India now rather.
Yeah. Sayed, if you want to switch on your camera, that we can at least see you, and you can get an opportunity to ask anything you want, because Sahib and Rohit, they asked a lot of questions, and I hope their questions got answered. It doesn't matter. In the interest of time, you guys can send your questions to our support team, and we will try to answer that even after this class. Not a problem. So Said, would you like to say something?
Nothing. I just joined. I'll take stock of things from Rohit. He'll explain me what's going on. Otherwise, hello.
Mhm.
Yes, yes. Sure, Sayed. I hope you are doing well after vaccination.
Yeah, we just got back. Like, just had lunch, and now I thought the webinar got over, but it was going on, so I joined.
Yes, yes. No, it's good that you joined. Gary, I think we can spare next 5-7 minutes as well or
Yeah,
not.
your call. That's fine.
Yes, I think it's as long as the session is getting interactive. I think there's no
Yeah, yeah,
hard and
yeah. I
fast
think
on that.
it's fine. Yeah.
So okay, so Sahib has this question: investment banking. Yes, so investment banking, as I've said, is so understand investment banking as a kind of role that you are going to help people in raising in not people, you're going to help companies in raising money. Now it may be through IPOs, it may be through mergers, it may be through n number of things. Now investment banking, the kind of role that we see in movies, or because people in India are very fascinated toward investment banking, so
Yeah.
the front end role of investment banking is is consider that as a brokerage house, or maybe a sales sort of profile where you got to pitch your clients that there's a company which can be valued, which can be a good investment, or you can raise money through this. I can help you raising money, or lend, there's one lender, maybe Gary is the lender and I'm the borrower. Now the investment banker role would come in and facilitate between both the parties. So it's more like a middleman or the link between the two parties. So the kind of fascination that we have for investment banking, I think it's very obvious. Even when I started CFA, when someone used to ask me what after CFA, I just say investment banking without knowing what actually it is. So the kind of fascination that we have, maybe through films or through webinars or other series, but the kind of role that investment banker does is more of a middleman or the moderator between two parties. Would that
And
answer you?
can CFA help? That totally depends on which area within investment banking you are in. So as we already discussed in detail so far, we've been talking about that. So it's
Yes. So
totally.
okay.
Yeah,
So when you go for CFA, suppose you've cleared, you own charter, you hold charter for CFA, and then you go for maybe MBA or from any tier one university, because it's usually the MBA people who are the front end of investment banking. So if you have that networking skill within you, it's good you can manage all those things, because you know what sort of data is floating around. In order to crack a deal between two high net worth parties, you got to understand the basics of finance. And if you have that, if you have networking skills, yes, see if it does add a lot of value there. Another important question which we get, that is there any subject wise, that how much to score to pass CFA level 1? It's like most important question that
yeah, true.
students ask that. So there's no defined criteria that so CFA doesn't really reveal what is the main criteria that in analyzing the result. It's like you got to clear, you got to have at least 70% of ratio. I mean, if there are 100 questions, you got to clear those 70 through it, sail through it, then there's a high probability that you'll pass. So the kind of result that you get, I've given CFA exams. I mean, me and Gary, we both did it in first way, so we didn't really see the other way of the result. But the email that comes in, It'll say congratulations Rohit or congratulations Sahib, you've passed, you're among the 40% or 42% people who have cleared this. It will not give you how much did you score. So you
Yeah.
got to keep in mind that you got to maintain a ratio of 70%. That's like irrespective what subject in what subject you're getting how many marks. It's like 70% on a whole, but you
Yeah,
should
that's the
aim for
safe
maybe
safe target. When you
that's
get
the safe bet.
70%, you will pass. Yeah,
Pass, yes.
99.9% of the time. Yeah, because that's
Very
how.
high possibility if you are getting 70% you'll get pass.
Because they set minimum passing score every year, and they have got internal criteria, so it's still competitive because you have to breach that threshold to be a past candidate amongst the past candidates, and it can be one number here and there which can make a difference, between pass and fail.
Yes, so earlier what CFA used to send in result, because I've seen result of lot many people around me. So if unfortunately one candidate doesn't really clear, so what they'll do is they'll categorize those people who haven't really cleared into bands.
Yes.
So if
So
you're
they,
getting
they don't
10
do it
band,
now. Don't they do it now
no,
still?
they no no they don't
They
do that
stopped
now.
it. Okay,
So
that's
if
bad.
someone gets a band 10, it means he just flunked maybe one or two question here and there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's that close. So it's like the safe bet is go for at least 70%. Rather, in your mocks, when you'll be appearing for mocks, you should actually be aiming for 80% and above.
And then being in
And
level three has its own, when I reached, I thought like I achieved something. And in level three, number of candidates are lower, but you are competing. It's a competition a little bit. You are competing with portfolio managers, top research, people from top research houses who have already cleared two difficult levels of exams. And I've seen people struggling in level three. After reaching there, I've seen personally people failing 5 times, and they kept giving it. Do you know why? Because I did a lot of research before sitting for the exam. In fact, I didn't even register, but I started my coaching before that. Why? Because registration was expensive. I thought I will not uh, go through that. First of all, money, losing money, uh, and then effort and time. I don't want to do that. So I did enough research. I was ready, and then I registered. I just did opposite, and that helped. So my thing was about I missed something. I think I was started relating with it, but yeah.
like
Yeah,
level
level three.
three, a lot of people struggle with level three.
Yeah, so you competing with smart people at level three, and there was so much anxiety waiting for the result for level three. I faced. I kept looking at my phone whole night, and finally I got it. So, but that moment I can never forget. That
And
was,
also
yeah, amazing.
what CFA does is, I think, so that's very close to me and a very personal level. I can tell you that there's a lot of there's an ample resource which is available at internet as of now. So if you Google CFA level 1, you'll end up getting a lot many question bank, a lot many material, and that is not really exhaustive. I mean, you'll get everything. If you try and solving every bit of that question bank or practice or more or less everything, you'll end up doing nothing. So it's more of
That's also
a
a
it's
problem.
more
Yeah.
of arranging things. It's more of deciding the priorities that you're going to study, or maybe defining how you are going to study. That is more important in these sort of comparative exams. That's my personal experience. And once you are through with CFA, a lot of relaxations you can avail. There are different courses like CIPM, CAIA. Those are
Mm.
more focused about alternative investment, or maybe
FRM as well,
um,
even FRM.
FRM, yes. But I think FRM doesn't really provide you that. But CIPM and CIA, they provide you that
A
relaxation
lot.
of. So,
Yeah.
it's like there are two exams in CIA, but if you are a CFA charter holder, you are supposed to give only one. So these are the
So
kind of
even here
relaxations
in
that you get.
Australia, I got one relaxation. I wanted to just see CPA, how CPA works. So they gave me complete waiver on foundation, of course, and then they gave me waiver of uh, one risk management, which is the core CPA. They don't give normally waivers to everybody. So I got
Mhm.
that waiver just because of CFA.
Yes,
I'm not doing
lot of
CPA.
doors open up. Yeah, lot of doors open up.
So, what is the ideal
Yeah,
time for preparation?
you want to take that, Akshay? Ideal time for preparation. You mean number of months?
Yes, like how much time is required? Like, if I want to plan for level one, like how much time should I give for the preparation?
I was actually waiting for this question to come up. Okay, so yes, it's a very frequently asked, very good question, Saib. It's like how much time should I devote? Well, it depends on your background. If you have a strong background of finance, you might take a little less time. But personally, I'd say the average what you'll see on Google or what you'll hear about is 300 hours, as they say. I personally spend maybe more than 500 hours for level one,
Same with me.
and I think it's very important. You got to create a base that a rock solid foundation. So it takes some time. Again, it will depend on there are kind of options that are available. As I've said, there are ample resources. If you try going through CFA curriculum, it'll easily take you 500 or 600 hours of reading only. So you have to take that call that you have to there's a trade-off, right? You can't be spending enough time on doing one thing at a time and not doing others. So but I'd say maybe 400 hours bare minimum. And again, there's a small caveat to that. If you start studying now, and maybe it's 4:15 now, and I tell you that you got to study till 8, if you study as per clock or as per the time, in these 4 hours, I think you'll be only productive for 90 to 100 minutes at max. So it's like focus more on quality and not on quantity.
Yes.
And the agenda is see what we'll be doing is we'll be providing your timetables that what you can do. For example, if you're working, you don't have much time on your weekdays, you have more time on your weekends, then capitalize on that. Spend at least an hour on weekdays, maybe spend 4 hours on weekends.
And
It will
not only
take time for
that,
us to cover as well.
yeah,
Yes.
so Akshay rightly said, it's time management is key. But on top of that, there are strategies which works at each level and or at each uh, paper, each subject, topic wise strategies. Those are very important. And some people say that they can teach CFA. They haven't gone through CFA, charter or journey, and they claim that they are teaching CFA. Do not fall for that because it's difficult. Somebody who is done knows more because they've gone through it. So strategies like little bits and pieces which you can keep getting throughout the way when see there is a problem and you ask and you get a solution on that, get the strategy right, and I think that can make a difference. What do you reckon,
Yes.
Akshay?
So for example, we so here in CFA, the whole curriculum is divided in study sessions. Now, within one study session, you've got multiple readings. Now, readings is just like chapters, what we have in our normal textbooks. So, which chapter to concentrate? For example, there are 10 sources which is available. Now, you will what we'll do is we'll provide you that this chapter, this isn't really that important. Focus